Oh my god, this man, can I have one? I will probably read something that is cringe, okay? And when I say female gays, I don't mean the sapphics, okay? I don't mean lesbians. He's so hot. Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. A bitch is back, but not talking specifically about books. We're actually talking about something else. If you don't know who I am, my name is Diemmi. I realize I never say this on this channel. I like to talk about books on this channel, but I switch it up every now and then and do other discussions of things. And today I had something on my mind really recently that I wanted to talk about. I think that we have a serious problem when it comes to rom-coms, film rom-coms. Where have they gone? What happened with them? This popped up in my brain because recently we have been seeing since 2016, since 2020, the rise of book talk, the rise of rom-coms and the romance genre in Barnes & Noble and books being really popular. And thus what comes with that? A lot of book adaptations. A lot of studios picking up these books to then adapt them into movies. There's a lot of adaptations going on, and this is something that I'm very passionate about because I am a film girl at heart. I have a whole wall of film posters behind me. As a book lover, as a lover of storytelling, I really truly care about adaptations and finding these already amazing stories and wanting to adapt them in a different form of media, because film is a whole different beast. And I think that is what we fail to forget. When it comes to American media, we just have missed the mark. This has started since, I'd say, the 2010s. We saw the decline of the rom-com. In the early 2000s, in the 90s, we had She's the Man, She's All That. We had 10 Things I Hate About You, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Pride and Prejudice, Ella Enchanted. We had so many romantic movies that were so iconic, so memorable, made you cry, this, that, and the third, and they just died off. And now we are seeing a resurgence of this comeback with popular, famous book talk books being picked up to be adapted into film or TV. With A Court of Thorns and Roses with Sarah J. Maas. We have It Happen One Summer being picked up by a major studio. The same thing with The Love Hypothesis. And most recently, one of the catalysts for this YouTube video, It Ends With Us book adaptation with Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni filming in this instant right now that I'm talking. With It Ends With Us. This is the most recent adaptation, and we have Red, White, and Royal Blue coming out in August. Everyone is talking about how the chemistry between the leads and a lot of the promotion of it does not look good, and it's kind of worrisome. We haven't seen the movie yet, so we don't know how that's gonna go. We also have the Hating Game movie that came out recently, so a lot of book talk books are getting picked up, and it makes me worry. It makes me worried because I don't know if we in our American film system has the opportunity to really adapt these books in a way that will be of quality. I think we have a couple problems when it comes to the modern rom-com. One of them is that it lacks life, it lacks character and depth. It tries to hit all of the beats without giving any nuance to the characters. Secondly, is that a lot of romance books specifically, a lot of rom-com books specifically, are innately cringe. The dialogue is cringe. It's fun to read it. It's not cringy when you read it. But if you were to hear an actor say it, it's cringe. I can open up any rom-com book right now, and I will open it up, and I will probably read something that is cringe, okay? Like, it is just a fact. Could you imagine an actor seriously say, "You can stop swimming now, Lily. We just made it to the shore"? Can you imagine that? No. Like, it is innately cringe. And I think what American media fails to do is lean into the cringe and lean into the absurdity of it, the absurdity of these circumstances. And we need to bring back the comedy because we've been lacking that. The other main reason why these book to film rom-com adaptations aren't really working out is because of fandom and fan base. Because we so innately, ingrainedly fall in love with these stories, with these characters, with these books, that we forget that film is a whole other form of media, and that things are not going to translate correctly or well, or they might not translate at all. That goes with the dialogue, But also, I think what we need to take into account as a viewer, what is the most important thing about reading books, about any story that you consume, that you hear about, listen to, watch, is the themes, is what you take away from it, is the characters. It isn't, oh my God, the hating game, Lucy's eyes are supposed to be blue, but her eyes are actually green. How come they didn't do that? You know, like it's not about the little things. And I think fandom, it has become so picky with the way that they want the adaptation, they fail to miss the messaging of it. And that is why when it comes to the It Ends With Us adaptation, I want to give it a chance before I see it, because a lot of people have been saying, oh my God, Lily dresses like a grandma. Oh my God, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's too old to play these characters. They're supposed to be 23. Oh my God, how come it looks so bad? The book is cringe in general, okay? But on top of that, we haven't seen it. The little things is what people are complaining about. They're complaining about the way she dresses. They're complaining about how the characters look. And I think that if it's not important to the story, it's not important to the theme, it's not important to the message of the book, to the story arc, then it doesn't really matter. With It Ends With Us, what is the main theme of the book? It's about being a survivor. It's about breaking cycles. If they follow those messages, if they have the heart, if the movie has a heart, which I think a lot of modern rom-coms do not have, film rom-coms don't have and lack, then I say that it was a great adaptation, because that is, I think, what the main purpose is. That's what I love about adaptations. That's what I love about film. That's what I love about storytelling. It's about the heart, the themes and the passion and the stories, the characters. And if a character doesn't have red enough hair, who cares? Honestly, who cares? If the character is too young or too old, Lily Bloom could have been any age. But if she goes through the same things, if she's the survivor in the same way, then that is all that really matters when it comes to the story. That is personally what I believe. You can disagree with me, obviously, but I'd love to hear comments down below. This leads me to what the future might hold. Also, recently, what I have been thinking. This is kind of in a different vein, but the most recent adaptation that I have seen has been The Little Mermaid. And I think that this is a huge step forward when it comes to adaptations. Because when you are adapting something, the story's already out there, right? Especially when it comes to the Disney remakes. What most movie makers need to have in their mind, and usually what they do have in mind when they create projects, when they go into production and pick up a script and things like that, is why are we making this movie? Who is it for? Why is this important? What do we have to say? Like, what is the message that we have to say here? What is important that we need to tell people that is so critical that we have to tell everybody? And that this movie has to be made. A lot of past Disney live action remakes didn't really have that. Why did we need a Dumbo remake? I have no idea. No clue at all. But with The Little Mermaid, I can tell that the filmmakers actually asked these questions, and the adaptation of this elevated the main story so much, and it had a heart. This movie had a heart. And this is just my opinion. It's not the best movie in the world, but I feel like on a storytelling level, I liked it a lot more than the original. Sorry, because unpopular opinion, I'm exposing myself. People are gonna hate me, but Ariel was actually my least favorite princess when it was with the Disney Renaissance princesses. She was my least favorite because I saw her as a pretty, rich, skinny, young girl who was just whining about everything, whining about life, saying she wanted more, and being so ungrateful for everything that she had. She had a father who loved her. She had sisters who cared. Like, she, to me, was so whiny and was like, I want more, and I did not like her in the slightest. And I think what they did with the live action remake was they changed that character to not necessarily say, I want more, but that she is an explorer and she loves the idea of discovery. Like, she knows that there is more out there. They made it seem like she's actually searching for purpose in life, and it made her feel like she was displaced. Because in the first movie, I don't know, there was something about it where I felt like Ariel fit in with everybody around her. She had her little friends, her family, whatever, but she was just, oh my god, this hot dude on this boat was hot and I want to meet him. Here in this live action remake, she really wanted to just explore, and she was very passionate about discovery and adventure. And not only that, but they elevated the romance in general in this movie, because Eric, they actually made him a real character, and the chemistry between the two leads were amazing. The way that they bonded, the way that they actually shared similarities, that they both understood each other on an innate level that you didn't need words for, was so well done. And I think for that reason alone, I liked this remake, and I think it was better story-wise than the original. It was a great adaptation. It wasn't exactly what the original was. They made changes, but they made changes for the better, for the different medium, for the different time. This is 2020 now. That movie was made in like 1989 or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. That is what we need to take account as audience members, as viewers, when it comes to these book to movie adaptations. It should be okay that they don't follow page for page, plot for plot of everything that happens in the book, because I saw so many comments of different book adaptations say, oh my god, you missed the scene where she fell down the river. In the grand scheme of things, those things aren't important. I hope that we as audience members can do better in just saying that it's okay if they make changes to the story, as long as it benefits the medium and it benefits the themes and the heart of the story. But as filmmakers, I believe that they actually have to include a heart, and they have to include passion and some character to the movie. I think that this is mainly an American film problem, and where we can take a lot of notes from is from Korean dramas. And I'm not talking about K-dramas like Squid Game, not talking about K-dramas like The Glory, okay? Not K-dramas like that. I mean K-dramas like romance K-dramas. I think they have perfected the rom-com cringe in a way that makes you as a viewer feel so invested in the couple. It gives you all of the same emotions you feel as if you are reading a rom-com book, but you're watching it. I've seen so many K-dramas. I've seen Crash Landing on You, mostly on Netflix, okay? Business Proposal. And then when I was in middle school, I watched a lot too. But I think they have perfected the rom-com cringe in a way that leans into the cringe. And I really believe that for these next adaptations that we see, I really hope that they lean into the cringe. I hope that It Happened One Summer, that The Love Hypothesis especially that they lean into the cringe, because there's a lot of cringe, okay? And I hope that they take notes from K-dramas, and even K-dramas that aren't necessarily comedic. There's just something about them where you can really see it in the female gaze, and I talk about this kind of in other videos, that just makes for the story to be so well done. This happens in Pride and Prejudice, you know, the hand clench, that is so female gaze. And when I say female gaze, I don't mean the sapphics, okay? I don't mean lesbians. I mean female G-A-Z-E. But I think it's so fun. Anyway, I make that joke all the time. I just saw a couple months ago, 20th Century Girl. That movie knew how to make the movie in the female gaze. The way that he acted, the things that he did, it had nothing to do with what he looked like. He's not my type. That man in 20th Century Girl, he is not my type. But tell me why I fell in love with him. Tell me why I was like, oh, he's so hot. I was swooning. I was kicking my feet up in the air. I was like, oh my god, this man, can I have one? I was in love with this man. But it's because it was written in the female gaze. What is the female gaze? Oh my god, I am going on different tangents, but this is all important when it comes to adaptations. Female gaze has nothing to do with physical appearance. It has everything to do with action and everything to do with emotion. K-dramas really lean into it. K-dramas really lean into, what does the guy do? What does the guy feel for the girl? What he can't hold in his emotions. What does he do for them? This, that, and the third. Male gaze has more to do with the physical aspects of it. This is why I said in previous videos, I think it was specifically my video on what this book couple say together, I talked about how the entire off-campus series is basically written in the male gaze, even though it was written by a female author, is because they talk a lot about the physical attributes that the characters have, and not necessarily about the emotional points that the characters go through to have them connect on this journey. The emotional connection, one of the most important things when it comes to romances. Those are kind of my 3 cents on this topic. I kind of did go on a tangent, but I think all of it's important. Another example that we can take for great adaptations, but not exactly copy paste of the book, which I don't think it should be, is the Vampire Diaries. I was part of the Vampire Diary fandom. There are so many people who are in love with the Vampire Diaries, but I also read 3 or 4 of the books. The books and the TV show are not the same at all, in the slightest. They are not the same, but I think for the better. And I think we need to see movies and books as different mediums. So that is why I think we should give It Ends With Us a chance, because it's gonna be a whole nother story, and I think we do have to separate them no matter how much we love the original book. The book will always be there, but what should happen is that when you are changing an original story for a different medium, you need to change it for the better. That's kind of the theme of the day. That's kind of my whole point that I'm trying to make. I think we hold way too high of standards when it comes to book to film adaptations, because we want it to be exactly, because we love these books so much. We love this story so much. We want it to be exact. But sometimes we have to kind of let our ambitions out the window, watch the film, and see for ourselves if it holds up on its own. If it's a good story, if it holds all of the same heart and the same passion that the books gave us. And that's kind of the moral of the story. Taking it back to the beginning of this video, when I was talking about the early 2000s rom-coms, that is what all of these stories did too. Ella Enchanted, the movie. If you read the book, they're not the same from what I've heard, because I haven't read the book in a long ass time. Pride and Prejudice, the 2005 version, absolutely not the same story as the book. And people say this a lot, that Pride and Prejudice 2005 is one of my favorite romance movies of all time. Everybody loves it, and people rewatch that movie weekly. The book of Pride and Prejudice, a beloved book, is not the same as that movie. The Mr. Darcy in the movie is not the same as the book at all, but they are different mediums and people love them for different things. That's what kind of we need to hope for the future. They do it in the female gaze. Ask, why are we making this? What is the purpose? Who does this benefit? They change it for the better. As fans, we give them a chance to change it for the better. I am hopeful, yet kind of alarmed for the future of romance movies. But there are gonna be a lot coming out within the next 5 years. I just know it. I'm excited, yet scared, but I will be here along for the ride, and I will be here to talk about it. This was a very long video on kind of my overall thoughts on this. I talked about a lot. Let me know your thoughts below on what you thought about this topic. If you'd like to see more about what I feel about this, please let me know. I have a lot of film thoughts. Like, I'm a film girly and I'm a book girl, and I'm very passionate about adaptations. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts below. I want to hear them so badly, and I will see you in the next one.